Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 30, aka chase race number 4 of Season 3 NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Golden Corral 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're getting set for 45 laps of racing here at one of the fastest mile-and-a-half racetracks in all of racing. Now, before we look at the starting lineup, let's take a look at how the chase points look coming into the race today. So after last week at Armory Digital Superspeedway, Matt McIntyre's points lead shrunk quite a good bit for a lot of people. He leads by 6 points over Paul Minnick, 7 points over Dylan Jacobs, 8 points over Benjamin Miles, 16 points over Charles Sanford, 21 points over Austin LaPlante, 35 points over James Qualls, 36 points over Joshua Sekuli, 39 points over Chris Dollarton, 48 points over David Rivera, 60 points over Rafael LeDuc, and 66 points ahead of James McLeod. Still, everybody's got a mathematical chance, but some of those drivers in the back in the chase points are definitely going to have to step it up here in the next couple of races if they have any hope of trying to get themselves back into the mix of things. But anyways, let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row will be Emmanuel Hartnett and Rafael LeDuc. Top 10 in the lineup, Pichu London is on the pole for today. Starting next to him is JT Bryant. Row 2 is Chris Michaels and Joshua Sekuli. Row 3, Dylan Jacobs and Jay Jefferson. Row 4, Joshua Collard, James McLeod. And then row 5, Matt McIntyre and Chris Dollarton. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the Golden Corral 500 at Atlanta.
Drivers, start your engines!
So the cars are all rolling out for their one pace lap around this racetrack. But yeah, a lot can happen here today here in Atlanta. A lot of chasers, like I said, who are in the back in the chase points are definitely looking to try to get either a win or at the very least a phenomenal finish in order to get some momentum going forward in their season. But the highest starting chaser was Joshua Sekuli in 4th and then Dylan Jacobs 5th, so they're going to be two of the guys to watch out for here in this early run to see how they're going to be racing around each other, especially since they're teammates, but they're also competing for a championship. Pace car and pit road, boogity, 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 let's go racing. Well, Pichu London led the first lap of the day here at Atlanta. Chris Michaels, though, trying to find a way around the 21 here in the early going, as the 17 of Chris Michaels is right up trying to get to the back bumper of the 21. And look at David Rivera. I believe he started outside the top 10 and has already found himself up here in the 5th position. Already a big run going for the 6 car. Whoa, I saw Collard get put up into the wall. But I think he kept it together, and Rafael LeDuc is not really running that well right now, and he's debuting a brand new paint scheme that will be featured quite heavily next season, and that's the Vavalin car. And right now, that 99 is not looking too good right now because he's having problems keeping up with everyone. But right now, David Rivera is trying to clear Tim Fiegel for 2nd, and he does clear him. Peachy London, however, has been leading the way ever since the drop of the green flag. So great performance so far here in the early going here in Atlanta for him. Battle goes on for 4th as here comes Austin LaPlante. Austin LaPlante, also one of those guys trying to get some momentum going forward in the chase. Came into the race 6th in the point standings, 21 points behind teammate Matt McIntyre. And he's definitely looking to try and gain even more so he can get closer to that points lead. But remember, next week is the halfway point of the chase. And speaking of the chase, 2 chasers fighting for 2nd. LaPlante with a run underneath Rivera for 2nd. Look at Zachary Fitzwater. He's found himself already moved up into the top 5, and I can't remember exactly where he started, but he's up here in the 3rd position, so great run for that number 91 Doritos Dodge. As meanwhile, Austin LaPlante is right on the back bumper of the 21 of Peachy London, and here he comes for the lead. Championship contender Austin LaPlante trying to make a move underneath the 21, and in turn that helps bring the 91 of Zachary Fitzwater up here into the picture. LaPlante led that lap, and that is a very important bonus point, especially for him being in the chase. He wants to try and get as much points as possible in order to get himself higher up in the hunt for the championship. The next highest chaser right now is Charles Sanford, and I believe this would be 5th right now. And indeed, Sanford is currently in the 5th position. Then the next highest chaser right now, up to 6th now, is David Rivera. Next chaser that I can find right now, looks like scored in 11th, is James Qualls. So right now we've got 3 chasers, or actually make that 4 chasers, up here in the top 11, so not bad for these guys. And then the next highest chaser right now is Joshua Sekuli, who's battling the points leader, Matt McIntyre, for position on track. Then you got Chris Dollarton, who's starting to reel in the 24 and is going to go by the 24 with ease. Then the next chaser would be... trying to look for him right now. There he is, Dylan Jacobs, who started in the top 5, and he has been slipping back like a rock. He's all the way in the very back of the field. Then you got Benjamin Miles, who is running in 41st, and then Rafael LeDuc, not sure what's wrong with him, but he's just not been able to keep pace today. Not sure if they made like any adjustments to the car prior to the race beginning, but yeah, he's all by himself right now. Battle for the lead, however, Zachary Fitzwater reeled in the 48 of Austin LaPlante and is going to go by for the lead. So new leader, the 91 of Zachary Fitzwater. Anthony McCrory actually also went by LaPlante for second. And Austin LaPlante is now back to third, but he is still currently the highest running chaser, but he's got one chaser coming hot on his tail, and that's the 03 of Charles Sanford. David Rivera and James Qualls are both up here in the top 10 as well, so now we got 4 chasers in the top 10 now. So I'm looking for more chasers to see where they're running. There's 2 of them right here in one battle, Dollarton and McIntyre, and I'm not sure as to what spot that's for. Could be for the 17th spot according to scoring. And at the line, yes, that is for the 17th spot. Then the next chaser that's high up that I can find is right there, Joshua Sekuli, and he has scored in 30th. Dylan Jacobs last scored 32nd, so he is trying to make up some strides to get himself back up into the mix of things. There's Benjamin Miles, who actually has moved up a few spots, but is still in the back of the field, and then LeDuc still just running by himself and losing time. But you also got to wonder as well is when will these drivers have to come into pit road? And the first car I see pulling in is Raphael LeDuc. Pichu London's also coming in, so these are the first 2 to decide to come in. I see Mark Lane in the Oreos car coming in. I think that is also Tim Walsh. So 4 cars have decided to come into pit road. Zachary Fitzwater going to stay out, but LaPlante is going to go in. Fiegel I saw stay out, and there's JT Bryant, he's staying out. That looked like Zach Flickinger, Matt McIntyre going to stay out, Joshua Sekuli. But everybody else I see has decided to come into pit road, so very few drivers staying out. Sekuli, McIntyre, Flickinger, Bryant, Fiegel, and Fitzwater. But now Fitzwater's slowing down, and here he comes. Fiegel's coming in. Sounds like Bryant's coming in. Flickinger as well. McIntyre and Sekuli. It sounds like they're all getting ready to come in to complete their first pit stop. So you can definitely tell they will have to pit around 9 to 10 laps to go. And that's going to really make things interesting for sure. And I thought I heard some contact on pit road with a couple drivers, but I might have just been hearing things. So if, depending on how fast these pit stops go, the lead could go to the 48 of Austin LaPlante potentially. There's Fitzwater, he's coming out. So I think it's going to be close between the 91 and the 48. Let's see. Oh, it is going to be very, very close. A 15 to 20 mile per hour difference. But I think Fitzwater is going to get the spot as they cycle back around. And he is reeling in the 99 of Raphael LeDuc to potentially put him a lap down, since the 99 has just not really been able to get going ever since the drop of the green flag. As you can tell, the speed difference, I'm not sure if there was a difference in adjustments to the 99 that just have not worked or what. I'm not entirely sure. But nonetheless, Zachary Fitzwater has the race lead as everything cycles around, but the next car that's in danger, well, actually a couple cars are in danger of going a lap down here pretty soon. But anyways, let's do a full field rundown. Since we are approaching halfway point, Everybody is cycled around, so Zachary Fitzwater is your race leader. Second is Austin LaPlante. Third is Charles Sanford. Fourth, Anthony McCrory. Fifth, Tim Fiegel. Sixth, Pichu London. Seventh, Chris Michaels. Eighth is Paul Minnick. Right now, battle for ninth, but that spot will go to Dylan Poteet. 10th, Dorian Facepuncher. 11th, James Qualls. 12th, Zach Flickinger. 13th is Phil Parker. 14th, JT Bryant. 15th, DJ Curtis. 16th, Mark Lane. 17th, William Brock. 18th is Matt McIntyre. 19th, Seth Cole. 20th is Sean Galligan. 21st is Joshua Sekuli. 22nd, Joshua Collard. 23rd is Tim Walsh. 24th is Emmanuel Hartnett. 25th, Jay Jefferson. 26th, Dougie Shears. 27th is Chris Dollarton. 28th, Jonathan Zorling. 29th is David Rivera, and then a battle for 30th, but that spot's going to go to Dylan Young. 31st is Trent Dunham. 32nd, Johnny Gardner. 33rd, Dylan Jacobs. 34th, Jake Baskinger. 35th is Dylan Thoreau. 36th, Andrew Rich. 37th, James McLeod, who I completely forgot was in the chase, so he's been a back runner most of the day. 37th is Ashlyn Boyd. 38th, Jessica Sheldon. 39th is Preston Plord. 40th is Benjamin Miles. And then two cars a lap down randomly, Rafael Leduc and somehow Joshua Collard. And oh, there he is. So I must have done a misscoring because I didn't even know the 43 was a lap down. But Zachary Fitzwater still has the lead, and he has a near 2-second lead over Austin LaPlante, but he's got a couple cars ahead of him battling, and this is for position. This is for 39th between Preston Plord, Benjamin Miles, and I see some damage on both of those cars, so they might have been the ones that got together on pit road, because I see rear end damage on the 55 and some front end damage on the 40, so I'm thinking these two got together on pit road, and that's why they've got damage to their cars. Will they hinder the 91 of Zachary Fitzwater in terms of speed? And could that help the rest of the field that is close enough to the 91 to get up there and make a challenge for the race lead? Right now the 91's having to deal with the 40 of Preston Plord, but he's got to run underneath. And all three of these guys are Fords, but for different teams. You got Michael Waltrip Racing, Evernham Motorsports, and Ganassi Racing. Too bad, though, next season Ganassi Racing will be disbanded at least for one season because the 42 car is going to be going to Retro Racing Enterprises next season, and Kyle Matthews will take over that car. Preston Plord will actually be moving on to the number 24 for Hendrick next season, so we'll see how he performs in that 24 car. Meanwhile, a battle for second is going on. Tim Fiegel with a big run underneath of Pichu London. But let's look and see where the chasers are currently running. So we're going to start in numerical order with David Rivera, who's all the way back in 33rd. Next up, Charles Sanford, up in the 6th position. Chris Dollarton, 22nd. Matt McIntyre, 17th. Austin LaPlante, 4th. James McLeod, 36th. Benjamin Miles, 39th, a lap down. James Qualls, 21st. Dylan Jacobs, 30th. Joshua Sekuli, 17th. And then Rafael Leduc in dead last. But back up at the front, Zachary Fitzwater still been slightly pulling away from second place, even though those guys who are second on back did pit before the 91, or at least pitted at the same time as the 91, but they just have not been able to reel in the 91 quite as much. In fact, like I said, they've been losing a lot of ground. Let's see the margin now. It shrunk just by a touch, but not really enough to get the 91 worried. Although we are getting very, very close to our final set of pit stops, which I expect will be coming here in the next lap or two, when we're going to start seeing drivers come into pit road. Margin, though, has shrunk a little bit, the margin did shrink by about 1/10.5. So the 8 car of Tim Fiegel is starting to get some momentum going. But now he's got to put up with these 2 lap cars of Miles and Ford. So now we're at 10 laps to go, so we're starting to get down to the wire. But also you got to wonder about when everybody's going to come into pit road once again. And there we go, our first set of cars decided to come in. LeDuc, Lane, Walsh, and London. I believe that's how they came in at first. Now LaPlante is going to sacrifice top 5 right now to come in, as well as Poteet, Curtis, Brock, Parker, Hartnett. Gardner's coming in, Rich, Rivera. And I see Fitzwater coming in. Fitzwater gonna sacrifice the lead for now. So now the lead goes back over to the 8 of Tim Fiegel. Now this is gonna be crucial. Fiegel may have to try and risk it and try and go for a different pit strategy. Let's watch the 91 on his pit stop and see how he's going to do. 2 tires and gas. I don't know, the 8 might have to go with just fuel only. Oh, but there was... Oh, never mind. I thought that was Fitzwater, but no, that was Zorleen and Dylan Young that made contact on pit road. But let's try and get to the 8 of Tim Fiegel, and let's see how he does on his pit stop. This is the money stop, so let's see what he's got under his sleeve. Looks like he's so far going to go with 2 tires and gas. But is he going to go 4 tires? If he goes 4 tires, that's really going to kill his momentum. No, he's going for 2 tires, and he actually had a faster stop from my eyes than the 91. So that it's going to be close. There's the 91 just now crossing the line. And there's Fiegel coming out of pit road. Oh, I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. I think Fitzwater's going to go on by. There's Fitzwater and there's Fiegel, and Fiegel's about 25 miles an hour slower, at least right now. Now he's starting to reel in more in terms of speed. Yeah, he's starting to get there. Let's see the margin between those two. A little over a second, so yeah, Fiegel's pit stop definitely was faster than the 91, and he has cut that lead in about more than half. Now we're going to see if Fiegel can run down the 91 before the end of the race. But he's going to have to put the pedal to the metal because it's coming to 5 to go. And it looked like the margin actually grew a little bit. Let's actually see here at the line. Yeah, it grew to 1.3 seconds. But that was obviously with Fiegel having to get more up to speed. But let's see if Fiegel's got something. But he's running out of time. 5 to go. He's going to have to push it. And Fitzwater's been the dominant car all day long. Let's see the margin now. It was 1.33 last time. Let's see. 1.38, so it continues to grow for the 91. Beat his lap by 0.05 of a second. And actually, Anthony McCurry, he's going much faster. Look at the lap time difference with McCrory and everybody else, he's running in the 26s. The top two are in the 24s, but McCrory, he might have had something. Now he's going to go for a run underneath Fiegel. 3 laps to go, and he's a second and a half. A second and a half behind the 91. I don't know if he's going to have enough time. The 61 is really fast, though. McCrory trying to make something work, but we're coming to 2 laps to go. Let's see where they are compared to each other. The 91 and the 61 lap times. Let's take a look. 27.279, 27.017. McCrory's definitely cutting away at that lead, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and it's less than 2 to go. But McCrory is reeling in the 91, but like I said, I don't think it's going to be enough to go by for the win. Maybe if we had a few more laps, he probably would catch him. And the white flag is being displayed. However, Rafael Leduc, because he's a slower car, he could be in the way of the 91, and that could help the 61 reel him in. The margin is now cut to under a second. I don't know. Leduc is slower, but I don't think he's going to really be a factor. The 91 has just got too big of a gap, and we're coming to the checkered flag. Checkered flag waving. Zachary Fitzwater wins the Golden Corral 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. But man, you have to give credit to the 61 of McCrory. He was pushing it so far. If we had a couple more laps, he probably would have had it. But nonetheless, congratulations on a dominating performance by the 91 of Zachary Fitzwater. Unbelievable. Let's look at the rest of the results. Like I said, Anthony McCrory somehow came out of nowhere like a rocket, running very, very fast lap times, but just didn't have enough time to get to the back bumper of the 91 to make a move. But he still comes through with a phenomenal finish in second. Tim Fiegel with a great run in the third spot. The highest finishing chaser was Austin LaPlante finishing in fourth, and then DJ Curtis rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Dylan Poteet, didn't talk much about him today. He comes out 6th. JT Bryant finishes out in 7th. Peachy London with a great run in 8th. Mark Lane with a solid top 10 run in 9th. And then rounding out the top 10 was Seth Cole. Rest of the top 20 was Paul Minnick, Charles Sanford, Zach Flickinger, William Brock, Phil Parker, Tim Walsh, Matt McIntyre, Joshua Sekuli, Sean Galligan, and Jay Jefferson. Rest of the top 30 was James Qualls, Dougie Shears, Chris Michaels, Emmanuel Hartnett, Chris Dollarton, Dorian Facepuncher, Dylan Young, Johnny Gardner, Jonathan Zorling, Trent Dunham, and then the rest of the lead lap cars were Andrew Rich, David Rivera, Dylan Jacobs, James McLeod, Dylan Thoreau, Jake Baskinger, Ashwin Boyd, Jessica Sheldon, and then everybody else finished the race a lap down, and they were Benjamin Miles, Preston Plore, Joshua Collard, and Rafael Leduc. But that does it for our coverage here today here at Atlanta Motor Speedway after what was a great caution-free race with pit strategy in play. But man, one more race and we'll be halfway through the chase, and next week we head to one of only 2 road course races in the chase. We head to Sawmill Speedway for the Carhartt 200. But until then, here are your results, rookie points, chase points, and regular points heading into Sawmill. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.
Delete!